Class, I need your answer before I continue or tell anything about the subject. Either you unmute yourself and speak or drop a message in the chat box. Yes, class, what happened? Why there is no any response from your side? Is the network proper for you all? Okay. There must be a proper strategy for management of finance in order to increase the wealth of the shareholder. Fine. Any other answer? Okay. We shall start from looking at towards the syllabus. Okay. Now, your strategic financial management, as you think, is not totally a practical subject. 70% of strategic financial management is your theory and 30% you can expect practical in that. Okay. Now, the first chapter is all about the introduction, where you try to understand what is this strategic financial management. Might be the meaning, might be the origin, might be the definition, or how is it useful for an organization or a manager. And the second chapter is all about valuation of the securities. Here you try to value how much you are going to get from what you have invested, whether you are going to earn more or whether you are going to lose something. So I hope all of you can see the syllabus. And the third chapter speaks about capital structure. Now, capital structure speaks about the two main things. One is debt and another one is equity. And how does these two plays a very important role in an organization. Second, third, fourth, fifth chapter does have some practical problems. The rest of the chapters are fully theory based chapters. Now, fourth chapter speaks about the leverage. Now, it might be operating leverage, financial leverage, or combined leverage. And when I had asked last week how many of you had studied accountancy, almost all of you had said yes. So, along with accounts, you might have had also studied cost accounting too. So, in both the subject, you might have studied a little bit about all this operating, financial, and combined leverage. But when time comes, we'll see it, point by point, and we shall explain it in detail. The fifth chapter is dividend policy. Now, can anyone tell me what is this dividend? Students, you can unmute yourself and speak. That might, make the class interesting. Otherwise, strategic financial management is going to be very boring. I can assure you that. Unless you people involve this is going to be boring. So I would like some answers from your side too. So is there anyone who would answer, or should I continue? I'll wait for another 10 seconds. If nobody answers, I shall continue. Yeah, okay. Raksha is saying that dividend is nothing but a return on investment. Now, speaking very broadly, yes, that could be the answer. But then, dividend is the return that you are going to get when you invest in shares in particular, either be it equity shares, or also it can be, which is the one more shares that you have. Can anyone tell? Either equity or preference shares. Fine. Okay. Now, dividends policy speaks about what happens if you give dividend or what happens if you do not give dividend. And when you try to explain that, you're going to involve some of the models that has been given by earlier financial management people who has tried and tested it. Might be it is a Walter model or Gordon model. Now, speaking about the sixth chapter, it is all about institutional setup for term finance and working capital finance. Okay, here you try to understand what are the different types of organization that has been set up especially in India, which helps your organization in getting finance. Okay, now this particular chapter is important from the point of view that no matter which organization it is, finance is the lifeblood of each and every organization. Might be your organization which produce goods. You can also be an organization which produces service, irrespective of either goods or services, or for that matter, it can also be NGO or whichever kind, might be a sole proprietorship, a partnership, or for that matter might can also be private limited company or public limited company. Unless until you have finance in your hand, no matter how good your plan is on the paper, you can never survive in the market. And speaking about the next chapter, it's venture capital funds. It is one of the very interesting chapters that you have. Now, this chapter you have in your one more paper, that is entrepreneurship and small business organization. The meaning, the definition would stay the same in both the papers, but then when you're trying to explain it in your entrepreneurship and small business organization, you'll have to speak in terms of how is it helpful to an entrepreneur or owner of an organization. Here, when you speak under strategic financial management, you should explain it in terms of being a financial manager or a financial analyst. Now, the last chapter is project planning and analysis. Now, here you speak about how to come up with a project and how finance of each organization plays a very important role in taking up new project. I hope in brief the syllabus is clear to all of you. Now, speaking about your first chapter, okay, even before going to first chapter, you should always remember the name of the subject. Okay, that is very important. That is strategic financial management, and the code that has been given for you all is MBAS 504. Now it is MBAS because it is a soft core. Now soft core is nothing but what you have selected. So all the specialization that you have taken, might be your finance, might be your marketing or HR, the codes would remain MBAS and the numbers would change. The first three paper which is compulsory for the entire class would be MBAH. I hope until now whatever I said you could hear clearly and you could understand it. So if you give me if you reply to me, we can continue further.
Ma'am.
I do. Yes, yes, tell me. Okay, so do not hesitate to turn on your audio and speak. I wouldn't mind. Whenever I do ask questions, do comfortably speak. Okay. Okay, now coming to first chapter, it is all about the introduction to financial management. So, can anyone let me know what do you mean by financial management? I guess I'm asking this question once again, but then earlier I asked what is strategic financial management. Let's go to that a bit later. Before that, you had a subject in your bachelor's called as financial management. What is it? What did you study under that? What did you learn under that? Can anyone let me know? Or should I ask call out the name and you would speak out? How shall we do this? Yes? Should I call out your name individually so that you can answer? Planning, organizing, directing, and controlling the financial activities. Yes, Reena is telling that it is planning, organizing, directing, and controlling the financial activities. Yes, definitely we can accept that answer. Who else would give me an answer? I guess you can also see the chat box here on the screen if I'm not wrong. Okay, now to start with, I would like to give an example. Now, there is an individual who has a job, who earns money on a monthly basis. Now, at the end of the month, he would get his salary, he would spend on all the expenses that he has. He might save some of his money and might give it to somebody else, and he does his living. Now, this is also called as finance management. Okay, or in other words, take an example of an organization which produces goods. Okay, now that particular organization takes money from different people, starts the business, produces the goods, and sells it. Now, while selling it, it has to fix a price for the goods which it is going to sell. Now, when it is going to fix the price, now there are many things that it has to keep it in mind. Okay, now that particular price of the product should include all the expenses that it has incurred in manufacturing the product, not only those expenses in bringing the raw materials, machinery, or setting up, it also should include might be the salary of the store that it is going to sell the goods in, the salary it is going to give for the employees, and every other things. After the expense, it will also have to keep a margin for profit. Okay, now the product price would include all these things. So there also they are doing something called as managing the finance. Now speaking about this, in your entire subject, we will speak or we try to understand financial management in terms of organizations, especially your listed organizations or what we call as private limited companies and public limited companies. Now they speak about strategy because things has been tested earlier, and based on what has been tested, based on the experience, they are going to test how your organization is, whether it has been has been fixed very well in the market, or whether there is something that you will have to do. Now I would like to know from you all, what is your opinion whether financial management as a subject is very old or is it a new discipline? Yes, is there anyone who could answer me? What is your opinion? So I hope I can give answer from my side. Yes. Earlier, might be in the early 18th century or in the mid 18th century, your financial management was recognized as a part of economics. Now, economics is a very old subject if you all remember it. Now, everything that we learn might be marketing, might be your principle of management, or might be your supply chain management. Everything has been derived from your economics. In the same way, even your financial management has also been derived from your economics. Okay, and it has been recognized as a new discipline, as a new subject from around might be 1890s. Okay, and in the earlier days of its inception, A manager's work was simply looking after how the funds would come and how it would go out of the company. But nowadays, the responsibility of the managers have increased very much. He'll have to try, bringing together funds from different places, maybe allocate it to every other activities that the organization would do. And in with that respect, might be the work of a financial manager compared to the managers who used to be there in 1890s or 1900s has become hectic nowadays. And speaking about financial management as a subject, now it is of immense interest, might be for the academicians or those who are practicing it. Now, those who are practicing it are none other than the managers of the organization themselves. Now, it is of interest for academicians because it is still developing. You can still do a lot of research in the field. You can come up with new ideas and the rest of the things. And for managers, it is very, very interesting because there are certain things or there are certain crucial decisions of the firm which are related to finance. And in understanding these uh, crucial decisions or coming up with very, very important decisions, those theories which have been mentioned under this subject would be very much helpful for the financial managers. And speaking about the academicians, it is interesting for them from the point of view that there are many, many controversies still remaining in the subject. Might be we can take the example of dividend policy itself. There are two, the Gordon model and the Walter model. And when you're going to value your company on these two different models, the value would be different. So there is some kind of controversy still remaining as to which we have to accept. Some might have the opinion that it is good to, you know, select Walter model. Some might tell yes to Gordon model. So for academicians, it is a subject of interest. I hope whatever we discussed until now is clear to you all. Now you'll have to reply me because it is important for me to know whether you could hear me or not. Okay? Since it is not our normal face-to-face class and it is online class, it is a bit difficult. But if you are okay, we can, all of us can, turn on our videos and we can have conversations too. So it depends upon you how you would like your class to continue. Now, second thing that I would want to tell is, now whatever class we take shall be recorded, okay? I mentioned this because it is better that you know. So whenever I am going to record it, you would get a message on your screen telling that this particular meeting is being recorded. So your participation becomes important in terms of might be giving internal marks or also for the purpose of your attendance maybe, so that if you interact, we would know that you are present in the class. Now, speaking about whatever I do share, I shall definitely post it in your Google Classroom or might be in the Telegram application, because in Telegram application for y'all it might be helpful for download it whenever you want. So I guess I can continue. Is there anyone who would want to ask any question? Okay, I guess I will continue. Now, speaking about in brief regarding financial management, or in terms of from the point of view of a financial manager. Now, it is a activity which is concerned with planning and controlling of the firm's financial resources. If you want to take it down, you can take it down. I would repeat it once again. Financial management is a managerial activity which is concerned with the planning and controlling of the firm's financial resources.
Can you repeat it again?
Yes, I shall repeat it. Okay. Financial management is that managerial activity which is concerned with the planning and controlling of the firm's financial of the firm's financial resources. I hope for those who ever were taking down, it was clear. If you want me to repeat it, do let me know. Okay. Now, speaking of this, it reminds me to tell you all that among many assignments that would be given in this subject, one of the assignment would be your notes itself. So whenever I do ask, you will have to submit. There would not be any one particular day when I would ask, or I would not tell you all which day you'll have to submit. Randomly someday I might ask and you'll have to submit it. So whatever until then would be discussed under this subject would be there in your notes. I hope this point is clear for all of you. Yes. Now the next point that you can take down is regarding the origin of the subject. It was earlier included in the economics, or in other words what we call it as, earlier it was a branch of economics, and later on in 1890s this particular subject became a separate discipline. So 1819 is not that far long. So this particular subject is of recent origin. Okay. Now there is a doubt from one of the students telling that whether financial management is a separate discipline from when the economy was opened for other countries. In India, it started getting its importance might be from 1991, but strategic financial management as a subject has not origined here in India. It has origined in some different other countries. So it started originating in 1890s. Okay, that what the books which I have read speaks of. Your doubt is definitely acceptable because we as a country opened ourselves in the year 1991. So after that the competition increased and managing funds became important. Yes, your doubt is accepted. I hope the explanation was acceptable one. And yes, nobody would chat in the chat box unless it is very very necessary. Now this I can this is was especially to Nihal what I said. Nihal, you answer, you ask a question, it is acceptable, but it is not our random class or day-to-day class. So I hope you understand what I'm trying to speak here. And once again, I'm telling that because whatever you speak, whatever you would drop a message, word is being recorded. I hope you know what that means. So if somebody else would try to see what's going on in class, they would know how you act or interact. So be very, very careful because it is not your usual class. Okay, now moving forward. Okay, now speaking about definitions, there are many definitions given by different academicians. Whichever book that you refer, you can take it down from that. But here there are some definitions which is easy to understand and which speaks about, you know, the meaning of the financial management that I have taken from three different authors. The first one is given by Solomon, okay, and he tells that financial management is concerned with the efficient use of an important economic resource, namely capital fund. Now, this particular definition includes many different things, okay. The first things he makes it clear that you should use the resource that you have. Now, for an organization, resources are different. You had learned in your management regarding your men, machine, material, and all other ends. Now, all these resources combined together makes one organization. So, in financial management, we are going to give this money or finance very much importance. So here Solomon tells that you should use it not something randomly. The money comes, the money goes out, you have profit. No, that is not enough for an organization. You'll have to use it efficiently from the beginning. Might be in planning itself. You'll have to plan from which different resources are you going to get your funds. Whether you're going to manage it privately, whether you have all that money that you need for organizations with you alone, or are you going to get it from others? And if at all you're going to get it from others, whether you're going to get it in terms of a loan or whether you would go for shares. If you're going for shares, which kind of shares you will be doing? whether it is going to be all equity, whether it is going to be a combination of equity and preference, or whether it is going to, mm, be a combination of equity, shares, and bonds. Okay, I guess I got a notification telling that the meeting would end in 5 minutes. So I would stop here. I guess you can take down this, or I shall definitely share this particular PPT so you can have it in that and later on take down in your notes. But then you'll be having class from 2 again. So from this point we shall continue in that class. I hope whatever we discussed until now was clear to you all. Please let me know your opinion because this was your first class, and you know, might be there was some network issue, or might be what I was trying to tell was not clear to you all. Whatever the issue might be, please let me know so that we can arrange things for our next class. Do not worry about any other things unless it is that you did not understand or it is your network issue. Your notes, your whatever might be, I share something in the whiteboard of your WebEx. I'm going to definitely share all those things, but I do expect that you do maintain notes for yourself. So thank you, class. Would see you all at 2.
Ma'am.
Ma'am.
Thank you,
Oh,
ma'am.
okay. Do let me know your opinion in WhatsApp. That would help us to make our classes better for coming session.